3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple, and this is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you're all having a great week so far. I've got a review here for Jungle Cruise, the latest Disney Premier Access, meaning you gotta whop out $30 to watch this shit. But the latest Disney Plus theatrical combo release, so Scarlett Johansson loves this, I'm sure. But this stars, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself, playing Frank Wolf, Emily Blunt, coming off of one of my favorite performances of the year in A Quiet Place Part 2. My God, she's incredible in that. So she stars as Lily Houghton. So here's something I'm going to say about this movie. This was dumb. And I and I mean that honestly as a compliment, because here's the thing about this movie. It's The Mummy. It is The Mummy mixed with some Black Panther, which I'll get to, mixed with, Indiana Jones, mixed with National Treasure. It's very much those kind of 90s type of adventure, kind of swashbuckling type of adventure films that they're going for. And to an extent, I think they actually nail it, but at the same time, though, the story is so much more convoluted than it has any fucking right to be. But anyways, Lily Houghton, she's this archaeologist. She's this, Indiana Jones, Lara Croft-esque character played by Emily Blunt. She believes that there is this flower called the healing. I think it's called the healing tears of legend. I can't remember if they actually mention the name of the tree, but anyways, it's this flower that's supposed to heal any ailment, essentially. It's the heart-shaped herb of the movie, and she wants to go and discover this tree, obviously make this incredible archaeological discovery, but then also go ahead and be able to help people. And she's joined by Jake Whitehall, who plays McGregor Houghton, who's her brother. He's the Jonathan character from The Mummy. And that, honestly, for me, was a relationship I enjoyed so much more than I thought I would. There's this point where McGregor and Frank have this heart-to-heart. I actually like the bromance that they have between the two of them. But there's this point where he kind of breaks down why he's so willing to be so loyal to her, even when, it might cost him political connections, because he cares about her so much, not just because she's his sibling, but because of this thing that he does for her. And you go, wow, that's a really cool wrinkle that this film didn't need to add, but it actually makes you care more about their relationship, because they're giving each other shit, as siblings do. Trust me, my siblings give me shit constantly. I love you both, but their relationship is a genuinely sweet one that I wasn't thinking that I would like as much as I did. So I gotta talk about Dwayne Johnson. So I'm such a huge fan of The Rock. I mean, obviously not every film hits. I think people at points are a little too kind, a little too generous with some of the shit that he's been in. Because when I think about something like Rampage is not a good movie. I know people want it to be, but it's not. Like, Rampage is dumb. Even Baywatch. I know some people like Baywatch. I thought Baywatch was fucking stupid. There are some people saying Baywatch is better than this, and to that I would say you're fucking high. This is way better than Baywatch. But the biggest issue for this film, for me, actually there's one bigger issue, but one of the biggest issues I have is that when you look at Brendan Fraser, when he's playing, what was his name? Brian O'Connell in the Mummy films. The thing about Fraser is that he did have this charm to him, but he had this great ability to be kind of a dick. even, you know, even as he's incredibly charmed by Rachel Weisz. I mean, why wouldn't you be? My God, have you seen her? But the fact that he's able to play off that charm and come across like an asshole, that's a really fine line that you have to be able to walk when you're being, you know, a leading man in that type of film. And I think he nails it. Dwayne Johnson just really can't pull off being a dick in this movie. So when he's kind of working these scams on Lily, I don't know, for me it just came across like, well, he doesn't really have any obligation to be straight with you. This is all about money. He makes that very clear up front that, oh, I'm taking you to this place to find the flower because I just want to get paid, not because I like you. And you kind of go, all right. I mean, he's kind of letting you know, fuck you, you know, from jump. And she has nerve to get mad when he's like conning her. I'm like, well, yeah, he kind of did warn you. Like, he's kind of a piece of shit. Like, this is like telling John Mayer not to John Mayer. I mean, at some point, you have to know what you're getting. But those points where he's supposed to be kind of a dick, it never came across sincere to me personally. And I think the film does fall short in that. The other thing is that the villain, the main villain, Aguirre, played by Edgar Ramirez, okay, that whole plot with the villains, and I'm a fan of his. If you haven't seen him in Zero Dark 30, he's incredible in that, just off that alone. But he's not good in this. And the biggest issue is that he's so CG heavy. As is a lot of the film, this is a $200 million budget film. I'm assuming The Rock was probably $50 million of that, so that leaves you $150. Emily Blunt isn't exactly pulling in, you know, chump change, so she's probably, what would you say, $30 million? So that's $80 million right there. So you have $120 million left to actually, you know, produce the fucking movie. In theory, I'll be honest, guys, there were points where this CG was so spotty, especially on the villains. I just went, fuck, this looks like the fourth Pirates movie at points where it's like it felt like the budget just got slashed. And even now I say out loud, the fourth Pirates movie looked better than this. It's really frustrating. So when the film is explaining about these villains, you don't really fucking care because there's no connection to them. The whole backstory about, you know, what does happen, I will say that part's kind of interesting, but because so much of this is CGI, and even the flashbacks are just kind of done in a way that, I don't know, just didn't hit for me the way that I think it should have, which is a bummer. The big plot for me that does work is Jesse Plemons plays this guy, Prince Wahim. He ends up being this German soldier who's going ahead and trying to get to the flower first. You know, he's the evil Nazis, you know, and he's great. He's actually my favorite part of this. He doesn't have a whole lot to do, but there are points where he's just being a son of a bitch. There's a point where he kidnaps McGregor that I actually thought was had more attention to it than it had any right to, and a lot of that is because of how they play off each other. Jack Whitehall and Jesse Plemons, we do get this kind of weird pairing of the two of them as we get to the film's climax, and that really worked for me. I was actually kind of surprised at how much that worked for me. But I will say, while I don't think The Rock is great at pulling off the con man aspect of this Frank Wolf, him and Emily Blunt's chemistry is fucking wonderful. It actually feels like they earn them kind of having feelings for each other by the end of the film. Because I was at a point kind of watching it going, I feel like this is going to be more like Aquaman, or not because Emily Blunt will hit someone. That's right, I haven't got Amber Heard, but because, but more in the sense that, oh, I don't know if they're going to have chemistry. But as I was seeing them do interviews and stuff together, I went, okay, they actually, if this translates to screen, then this alone will carry so much of the film. And it does translate really well to screen. Just, they're always giving each other shit, and it's really quite charming. And it works. It really shockingly works. And if they want to do a sequel to this, which, you know, this opened about 35 million in theaters and then another 30 million on Disney Plus. Budget's 200 million. So I really just think a lot of these studios are just going to take some of these films that just aren't making what they would probably make, you know, in a normal theatrical run if, you know, the pandemic wasn't a thing, which it still is, people. I think people are just gonna kind of go, all right, we're just gonna give this a sequel no matter what, because we don't know, like, we have the star power. It'd be a shame to not go to the well under normal circumstances. I think we're gonna see a lot of that, and I think Jungle Cruise, where it ends up, it's definitely setting up for a sequel. Like they're not even hiding that shit. Which, you know what? Fine, don't hide it. I mean, just let us know. And I would be interested to see. What a second film of this would look like. I think they could. Now they need to get some different fucking writers, because I will say, the writers on this movie, Michael Green, who I was sitting here thinking, I was like, why does I know that name? He was the screenwriter on like 3 of my favorite movies in the last 20 years. In Murder on the Orient Express, fucking love that movie. He wrote Blade Runner 2049, and he wrote Logan. Like, what? Like, when I looked up his filmography, I went, how the fuck did you write? How are you a part of this? And this is so meh for me. Glenn Ficarra, actually, oh, fuck, that's probably why. The only thing he's written is Cats and Dogs. Well, fuck, okay, this is why this is bad. And then John Requa, he went ahead and wrote Crazy Stupid Love, which isn't great, but I do enjoy that. But he also wrote I Love You, Philip Morris. I love you, Philip Morris. Wrote Bad Santa. What the fuck? Wrote Looney Tunes Back in Action. Okay, I'm really confused. Like, and he wrote Smallfoot. Wow, this is a weird movie. Like, this is kind of blowing my mind as I'm going down this rabbit hole. But it's one of those things that it's frustrating, because you'd feel like if this is done for rewrite, if you bring in another writer to help punch this up, I think you could have a great film here instead of what I think is just a goodish movie. I really don't even have much more to say on it. When you find out Frank's backstory, which, by the way, within like 20 minutes, you're going to kind of go, all right, I have a feeling that, and trust your instinct on that. That's what I'll say. I won't spoil it, but trust me, it's going to be one of those things you go, oh, all right, of course. So, but at the same time, though, this was a dumb, fun action movie to get to my final thoughts. I had fun with it. I must preface, I did get a screener for this. I didn't go to a theater, pay for premiere access on it. But if I had seen this at, an early matinee on a Saturday with my partner, I would have left the theater going, yeah, it was fun. This is playing in 3D, I believe, so maybe it's more fun in 3D. I'd probably pay 3D price to just kind of see, honestly, because I could see some of the action sequences being fun. And I will say the first initial kind of chase, there's this point where Lily is trying to get this artifact from this shipment that comes in, and her and Prince Joachim are going for the same artifact. And there's this very mummy moment where where like in the first film where Rachel Weisz is on that ladder in the library, and she almost loses her balance and everything. There's a sequence done like that here, and it's actually very well shot and very well just crafted. I really enjoyed the sequence, and Emily Blunt gets to have some fun action sequences in here with The Rock. Some of which where she's just being chased, was using her environment to go ahead and like get away. It's kind of, I can't believe I'm gonna give this compliment. It's kind of like almost like Abe's Odyssey-ish in that sense. It's kind of weird, but it works. I really like the way that she's able to handle the action in this. And while Dwayne Johnson's Dwayne Johnson, I think Emily Blunt probably does as much, if not more, action beats than Dwayne Johnson gets to. And I really like what she does with the action beats she's handed. So I really enjoyed this. I'm just kind of sitting here thinking about, I would go see this in a theater. Even if I didn't get a screener, I'd go, you know what? Yeah, let's early matinee this and let's give it a shot. So I'm going to give this a B-. Yeah, that seems fair. Because I would even a B, I think it's being a little too generous on this movie with some of the stuff it pulls. At the end, too, okay, I will say, actually now I might give it a B. Because now it's this thing, so, okay, I'm not going to say what happens, but you know. So, Jesse Plemons dies, because of course he does. Like, he's the bad guy. He has to. The way he dies is so incredibly brutal. I actually went, holy shit, like, out loud. It caught me so off guard, but in the best way, and went, wow, that's okay, movie. PG-13 rating. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, B-. B's too generous. B-, I'm sticking with that. Also, real quick, Paul Giamatti's in this. He's barely in it. I wish I could have gotten some more Paul Giamatti, but, what are you going to do? But, yeah, this is a fine movie. It'll probably get a sequel. It'll be interesting to see what they do with a sequel. But where the film does end off is very interesting to me. So, but I digress. But yeah, Jungle Cruise, everyone. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Let us know in the comments. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearman1st. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple and Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and TuneUp, to name a few spots, at The Real Pineapple. And don't forget to like both our pages on Facebook at The Real Pineapple and Real Pineapple Games. I'm going to be hopping on Twitch at some point. I don't know when, but I will, and I will keep y'all updated on our pages when that does happen. Thank you so much again for listening. We'll have reviews up here soon for the latest Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. I've got some thoughts on that. Gonna have a review here next week for Loki. I've got quite a bit I'm gonna have to say about that show. And gonna have a review up here this weekend as well with my special friend Alyssa. Fucking love you, Alyssa. She's gonna be hopping on here to help me review the Suicide Squad this weekend. I am horribly excited to see that. I am praying it's as good as I'm hearing. But James Gunn is great. He rarely lets me down. Actually, he's never really let me down. Yeah, it'll be great. James Gunn's wonderful. But we'll have a review up for that as well. But everyone, thank you so much for listening again. Take care of each other. Get your COVID shot. If you haven't, please get your COVID shot. Wear your mask. Take care of each other. And we'll talk to you soon.